Welcome to the Amazing Cities and Towns podcast. I'm Jim Hunt, your host, and today's episode will focus on a very important issue affecting local governments throughout the country. Our guests are Mr. Angelo Consoli, president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Prince George's County, Maryland, Lodge 89, and Colleen Hilton, a licensed therapist and founder and CEO of Alli Connect, a Seattle-based technology company that assists in finding the right therapist for mental health care. There's a whole cadre of staff that interact, and I know 911 operators, EMS, fire personnel, first responders in general, and people that support first responders, that when those incidents happen, that psychological pressure and stress is on that. Angelo, could you speak to that a little bit too?
That's correct. And, people, forget within policing, it's not just the uniform police officer you see that goes to the call for service. I mean, those are your frontline guys that do tend to see the most. But on the backside, you have, even within the sworn ranks, you have the investigators that investigate some of the crimes. Then you also have civilians that work for us that do the evidence collection, counseling, other areas, and some of the traumas that they have to deal with and see with people. We have the child and vulnerable abuse unit, the sex assault unit, homicide unit. They go through a lot and see a lot as well. And then you have, like I said, the civilians that support all them. They go through just as much, and that's why it's got to be rounded for the whole profession, not just the line officer that's getting in and out of the car.
Yeah, I'll agree 100% and take one more step to families and retirees, just because this is a family career for so many people. And when we go through the retirement process as a first responder, those first 6 months following kind of separation from the agency are incredibly difficult. Somebody spends an entire 20 to 30-year career serving the community, and suddenly they're not an officer anymore. So it's not uncommon for there to be a pretty incredible identity crisis that can lead to depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. And we're actually seeing that kind of 6-month period post-retirement is becoming one of the riskiest periods of time for first responders. So when I think about implementing a solution, I want to touch all the enlarging circles of communities that are around that officer themselves, and putting technology in people's hands and educating them around this proactive approach and really mental wellness as opposed to mental health, I think is going to be a cornerstone in our success as an industry moving this forward.
We are looking into making sure that the families are covered in a lot of these mental health things. It's not just the officer, because some of these things spill over into the family life. And so if you got issues at home or stressors at home that are caused from this job, then you need to make sure that the family also is getting the help that they need, because those stresses at home also increase the stress on the officer as well, but also the family. So, and the goal at the end of the day is to make sure that everyone gets the help they need, but also hopefully it helps keep the family together and keep them strengthened, because at the end of the day, that in and of itself becomes a big stressor down the line.